Just 2.5 weeks ago, we took the precautionary steps of announcing the temporary closure of Manitoba schools.
Manitoba's top doctor is calling this a daunting time for the province.
New restrictions are in effect today as well in Manitoba. Fewer people will be allowed at gatherings inside and outside.
The last spring and this fall and right before Christmas, it was not a good time. I don't think for everybody, but myself, my opinion is it's very tough to connect with people when you're not connected.
Splitting the school in two, 600 and 600, has taken away from people's high school experience, which is something that we all need to go through in life.
Because I was worried, how do we get students back into the rhythm of school? And because they're so used to sleeping all day and staying up all night, you know, how do we get everybody back into a routine? And how do I get myself back into the routine?
We cannot learn through a screen as easily as we learn when we're in person. And I see the whole on-screen experience as inhibiting the fantastic things that we're able to do when we are in person.
There was much more interaction, how to make friends, finding people that you're connected with. It's a lot harder to do that when you have to sign in, sit at a table, keep your mask on when you're not eating.
So my expectations going into my senior year was to have my best year of football with all my friends and hopefully complete our goal of winning a championship.
Even watching movies, it's always about the high schoolers, the seniors, and how the senior years is where they truly build a relationship with the team.
But unfortunately, that was ripped away from us and we were unable to have any form of a tackle season.
And I feel like that was stripped away from me as I didn't get to do that, and I was really excited for the season.
Since COVID happened, band got shut down entirely because there was a lot of fear-mongering about the effects that band had on the transmission of COVID. However, there have been studies that have shown that the transmission of COVID from band is not nearly as high as people initially thought.
One thing I'm really big into is art, and I feel that a lot of my experience has been lost, especially with every other day. It's a lot less hands-on.
Everyone's kind of has their mask up, you can't see anyone's faces. The lunchroom is segregated and, you know, very separate.
You know, you come here and you want to go to school every day, you want to make friends, hang out, and not worry about wearing a mask or social distancing.
The behaviors that I miss in this situation is the joy and happiness and kind of the life of the school. It's hard to explain.
Woo! My name is Kyle, and that is C. Woo!
You get a vibe in a building, and certainly we have a vibe of kindness and people looking out for each other, but there is that element of energy that certainly I was looking forward to that has been somewhat diminished as a result of COVID-19.
The pandemic has now lasted long enough for research to be done on what all the illnesses, deaths, and restrictions are doing to our mental health.
We take a look now at how these uncertain times are impacting our children. Experts say the virus plus the isolation of virtual learning and social distancing from their friends all create a recipe for anxiety and depression.
I try to keep stress in check, not always perfectly, because, you know, we're all human and we're all going through all kinds of different stresses and they hit you when you're not expecting it.
My stress is trying to make your lives a little bit happier. I think that's my focus. My classes, I've taught them for a long time. It's easy for me to do. You know, I'm watching kids not play sports and not be in clubs and not go out.
It's very easy to get caught up in your stress and get like frustrated easily and upset at the randomest things, but I find that with COVID you just have to you have to take a break, take a step back.
Over
overall, I think I generally keep a positive mindset, but there are things that just kind of push you over the edge.
The one thing that I have really noticed, though, that's very concerning to me is the anxiety level of my students. Depression levels, those have really increased, and I am very, very concerned about that. I think we are just beginning to understand how social teenagers are and how all of us are.
Our traditional methods of kind of getting away from our stress are often things like listening to music or spending time with our family, which we've been able to do. But another way we do it is spending time with our friends and through our extracurriculars like sports and music. And a lot of that has either changed into kind of an unexpected form this year, or it's had to been eliminated a little bit. So I think the best thing that we can do, and what I've been using, is finding ways to remain in contact with friends.
Phoning up your friends every so often, ask them how's it going, maybe playing some games with them through like whatever video game you play.
I think it's just knowing that I'm not the only one going through all of this. Like, my friends are going through all of it as well, and you know, pandemic life kind of hit all of us at once. It wasn't just me personally, and it has affected all of us greatly.
I think we all became more mature and understood the importance of life. Because before, maybe we didn't always appreciate life. But when you are losing people and you're watching the news and you're losing, you know, I have an elderly mother, and worrying about her and knowing that other people got COVID and passed, you realize the big picture of life is the importance of life.
Sadly, Vincent Massey continues to mourn the loss of a student this year. If you or anyone else you know is struggling with mental health, please reach out. Please access the following resources.
And that's really what experts are saying. Focus on the things that you can control and not on the things that we cannot at this time. Some time to unwind, maybe start a new hobby or pick up an old one that you haven't done for a while.
I've enjoyed the different aspects of creativity that we've seen. That's been actually quite amazing.
I think people have become a lot more creative. I have a number of friends who have started like just small businesses, like making jewelry and making earrings and different things like that.
We're gonna have a great time today because it's probably our last time ever gonna be in this building. So we gotta make the most of it.
COVID sucks.
COVID sucks. COVID sucks. It's horrible.
I'm glad that, you know, they haven't completely lost hope in still finding some fun things to do for the grads.
Personally, I'm kind of introverted, so I think my stress has gone way down. Now that I don't have to be like out there and always talking to people, I just have a lot more downtime, so I actually think it's been sort of good for me. I wouldn't say the same for everybody else.
As I have said repeatedly to my improv classes, if there's anybody in the building that can adjust to this, it's improvisers, because that's what we do, right? We say yes to things that life hands us, and we just have to accept them and move on.
That a lot of our kids have been dealt a hand of cards and they've played them well on the table. I've seen the students take on the challenge and rise to it as much as they can.
Oh my God. Even though it's, you know, for some people it's been the worst year of school for their entire life, being able to come here, it's been one of my best years. For that, I can't thank Massey enough.
Our whole community came together because we were all going through kind of the same thing, so I think it brought our community and school a little bit closer together.
You know, when I might ask a student, how are you doing? And I find out that they take the time and ask, how are you doing?
I think this has created an opportunity to rethink how we do things. And I really hope that we take that opportunity. People are always saying, we just want to get back to normal. We just want to get back to normal. And I'm like, well, was normal good? Or is there a better option?
Would have never have guessed a year ago that we'd be able to do all the things that we've been able to do.
COVID-19 does not discern between the principal, the teacher, or the student. It's leveled us all in our own ways.
Hey guys, you have to be 6 feet apart now. There you go.
still able to have in musical theater, choreographed musical theater numbers, and in dance class, we're still doing so much choreography, and that is my favorite thing to do.
I started to realize that actually I could do things, I could meet people, and I did. It's just in a different way. Appreciate what you have and make the best out of it.
To have that be our legacy as a school and as a group, that's really cool, in addition to all the new things we learned.
The small group sizes, fantastic.
I'm proud. I'm really proud of this school and their resilience, their work, how they continue to show up every day despite things. Staff and students can look to and see that we are persevering through this. You know, of course, there's my old grandmother's adage, this too shall pass, as another another mantra.
But we can get through this, and we are getting through this. And for me, that will be one of the fond memories that I carry forward from this year, that to some extent I hope to replicate without the adversity in years to come.
But I got to meet a lot of new people. I got close to some people I never really thought I would get close with.
I still enjoyed how we were able to come to school just like a little bit, so I still got to see my friends and all that.
Hanging out with my friends, that's like something that I was taken away, but you still, like, over calls and stuff like that, you can still try your best to connect.
We need to remember how important community is, because what I have found in COVID-19 is truly that, strength in community. I love coming to work. I look forward to it every day. I love seeing the people that I work with, and I think part of it is they're fantastic people, but it's also the power of having a shared experience that is anchored in adversity, and it's also anchored in the determination that we can overcome the diversity. And so for me, what has become very important is that part of being part of a community. Their wellness, their safety, your success, and your happiness at school are important to all of us. And I think we're all doing that for each other as best as we can. And that's, for me, where comes strength in community.